Hi, my amazing planner friends. It's Jess from My Magical Planner, and today I'm going to be planning out the week of September 18th through the 24th in my Aura Estelle 7x9 planner. I do use Harriet Wright inserts in that, and then I will be decorating this week with this beautiful kit from Sadie Stickers. This is one of her mystery kits from July 2022. And it has a really nice fall apple feel to it, but it's not like full on fall. So I felt like it would be a good fit for this week. So we have our full boxes, and this was a previous kit format. So you'll notice some differences in here from what you may see in her shop now. And this one came with this kind of extra page, but it's not the full-on journaling kit that she has now, and this is the florals that came with it. In addition to this, I have pulled out a few things. I pulled out these dividers and these jewel headers because so I'm a big Disney fan, and the theme of this one makes me think of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, so I kind of pulled that out thinking I might play around with that a little bit in the header area. I've also pulled out some date dots and of course my monthly scripts here. These are both from Miss and Meow. And then over here, oh, this is from The Giving Girl, by the way. And then I just have some extra boxes that I might pull in. This one's from Crafts by Towie. This one was Vanilla Paper Co. This one's Panda Bird Design, and this one is Vanilla Paper Co. again. And then I also pulled out a couple of trims. Well, one trim and two additional things. So this one's just kind of, it's almost like a pumpkin vine washi. And then we have some windows that I thought could work for this. And then I also have these signs, which I may use up in the corner. So that's kind of all the additions that I pulled out initially. We'll see if that's everything that I want in here. I may end up pulling in more things. So we're going to start. Oh, and this also came with the kit. This is just some headers. This was before she started doing the foil sampler sheets. So I think what I'd like to do is take this sheet with the headers and kind of play around with a few things over here as far as the headers with these, and then I think some florals too. I wish I had apples to kind of layer in as well. I think that could have been really cute. I have also pulled out, oh, there it is. It's underneath my Hobonichi. So I already did my planning for the week for this. If you want to see that, I will link that up above for you guys. I pulled out this Happy Planner book because it has Snow White in it, and she's kind of in brown tones, and I thought I might pull that in it as well. Alright guys, it's VoiceOver Jess. I had intended for this to be a talk through type plan with me, but because I just increasingly got more and more tired as I was planning this, I think I started too late in the day, and I just realized I wasn't talking and that would be kind of boring for you guys. So instead we're going for the voiceover route, and this is just me kind of playing around trying to figure out how I want these to layer together, because I wanted to use specifically these three elements, but making sure that they're all layered together was a little challenging. I had some issues just with the size of the florals and the different components that were there. I think part of that is because her florals have changed so much since she did this kit that I'm used to using the florals she has now, and there just wasn't as much variety back then. Now, I did really struggle doing this plan with me, and I don't know if that was because I was tired or because I've kind of been in a little bit of a mental funk. I'm struggling with a lot of things right now. I'm losing my hair due to some things that happened while I was in the hospital. Like, can't really fix that. But it's been really depressing. I just don't have as much energy, so I'm not getting all the things that I want to get done throughout the day. So I might be in the future, I'm debating, do I want to switch up my planning to try and help with my mental health a little bit more? And you might see that in the coming weeks. I'm not sure. Like I said, I'm still trying to figure things out, trying to figure out what's going to work. But sometimes when planning is no longer working the way it used to, you just have to switch things up. So just know that that is normal and it happens to all of us, and we just switch things up, and sometimes we go back to the way we planned before, sometimes we don't. It just depends. So anyhow, that's kind of what's going on here at home. Is just I'm struggling to get through the day because of my energy level. I'm trying to do some things to change that, to make things a little better, but the doctors just say it's going to take time. Unfortunately, I am not the most patient person in the world, so I'm really struggling with that because I want to do all these things, and some days by noon I'm just done, or I get sick probably about twice a week right now and just end up in bed because my body needs that extra time to recuperate, which is also really frustrating, especially when you're planning, because you have all these things that you want to do. But that's part of, having some chronic issues and all of that. Anyhow, so we pretty much finished off the top portion. I wanted to use as much of the garlands as I could because I wanted to use them up, and I felt like this was a good spread for that. Then at the upper corner, I wanted to use this torn page element, and I thought the wood worked really well. And then I wanted to overlay one of the signs. Now, one of the tricks I have sometimes when I'm getting these accent pieces, because it is a $2 Tuesday piece, but when you get it in gold, rose gold, and, silver, or if you even go for hollow, it sometimes gets very expensive. So I just got this in black because I felt like it just went really well and wasn't going to detract from the design. So I have it in black. I'm layering in some florals here. I did end up pulling that one up because I felt like it was interfering with the sign too much and I wanted something smaller. So I'm just kind of layering different elements here. This is me going back in and going, oh yeah, numbers. We need to have the dates in here so I don't forget. Common issue for me is I forget to go back in and put the dates in. So these are Miss and Meow dates. They're just really small and simple. They go with every spread that you have. So I have them for that reason alone. And then this is her scripts. I needed a script that was small enough that it would fit in this sign because I wanted that to be my September. And then I wanted to layer on some deco on top of this. So I'm taking the little house, which is the part that made me think of Snow White, like along with the apples. So I'm layering that down and then putting one of the dividers there. Then I pulled in this sticker of Snow White. I wasn't sure at first where I wanted it, and I decided I wanted it close to the house, but I was like, I don't know if I want it directly next to the house. So I ended up putting some florals in between and then having her below, and it almost makes like a box element there, which I really like. I'm going to be using that area to mark down some morning routine things because I think that's going to help me with like getting up and going in the morning. So at the bottom, I decided I wanted to pull in another torn page element and just have it in a different position. And I had used these sticky notes to kind of mark out what I wanted on what day. So I was just pulling them off because it sometimes gets in the way when I'm trying to figure out how things are looking. Then I pulled in this little swatch that had the wood element to put underneath Snow White's feet and a little bit of floral there as well, which gives it even more of that box feel to kind of be like, here is, the area I want. I didn't have a sticker for morning routine, so I just wrote morning routine in there, and I was kind of thinking about, well, what do I really want in this area for my morning routine? And I'm kind of letting that percolate as I'm continuing to decorate. I went ahead and put down my bottom washi, which I pulled off the strip that wasn't cut. I think now they're both not cut, but at this time there was one that was a cut strip and one that was not. So I wanted the more floral strip at the bottom. I felt like that really went well. I didn't use both. I don't tend to use both. Maybe that's something that'll change in the future. Occasionally I will, but for the most part, it takes up so much space to do both that I end up only picking one, and it takes me a while to get it lined up the way I want because I'm not lining up to a line. If I was lining up against a line, I think it would be much, much easier, but trying to line it up to the bottom of the paper, but not completely to the bottom of the paper can be challenging at times for me. And I'm just trimming off the excess to make sure it fits the space that I want. I did think about putting something at the top to kind of as a divider, but felt like it was almost too busy. So I wanted to pull in these trims. I decided I wanted those as the kind of transition from the column into that bottom decorative section. So that's what I did. I just cut them to length, and I think I only did one side at a time. I did decide I didn't like the way that the washi ended, and you kind of have that weird straight line next to the torn paper element. So I wanted to think about that a little bit because I knew I didn't like the way that that looked. I'm pulling in another just sticker from that Happy Planner sticker book that says important, and I think those layered together really nicely. Then I'm trying to figure out what can I do in this space down here. I want something there, but the basket of apples didn't feel right, so I decided to go with the window. And I'm not just going to put the window down, I'm going to place it down, and then I'm cutting it to go along the edge of that torn paper element. And I really liked the way that this came out. This is where I'm going to put my bedtime routine, and it just felt like I was looking into Snow White's cottage almost. I did think about putting down some trim here, but decided it really didn't need it. However, I did think that we had so much color on the one side and not the other that we did need something to kind of balance things out just a little bit. So this is me looking through my stack of stickers going, where did I put the florals? Oh yeah, there they are. And I'm just going to add a little bit of floral up in the corner, and that kind of helps balance everything out for me. So now I have 3 distinct spaces to put things. I have a morning routine, I have a bedtime routine, and a spot to put important things for the week. And again, I end up completely pulling all of this up, what I'm going to do here. I'm leaving it just to show you guys that I think it's normal for us to kind of struggle sometimes with our sticker kits and be like, I want to do this, but wait, that's not going to work with me. And the thing I love about the Harriet Wright design paper is that I can pull it up. I don't have to use undo, and that it's very forgiving of that. It is probably the #1 thing that I love about her paper, but I don't know if I'm going with her planner next year. In the interest of full disclosure, just because she is a UK based shop and shipping from the UK, I've had a lot of packages go missing. And so it's nothing to do with her and the quality of her product or anything. It's simply to do with the fact that my postal service sucks. And it's not just her, but international packages tend more often than not to go missing when they come to me. And it's not just like sticker stuff. I have other things that go missing. And then my mailman tends to deliver stuff to a different address on the route, and we exchange things, you know. I just have really bad luck. So I might be going with a different planner this next year. You'll be seeing that. Actually, I think I have 2 unboxings that I'm planning for this next week to show you 2 of the planners that one I'm definitely using and the other one that I'm considering. And I have a 3rd one that I'm going to be ordering when it launches later this month because I have a planner problem. Anyhow, yeah, I'm still going on here because I know I'm going to pick all of this back up. It's so bad, guys. I don't know about you guys, but have you ever like put together a spread and been like, oh, this is coming together, and then you reach a point and you're like, no, just no. It's just not working. We need to do something else. And that's totally what happened here. So anyhow, yeah, we're almost to the point where I'm getting there. I was trying to layer things on, and then I got to the YouTube portion. And I think what really did it was me realizing that it wasn't in the order that I was going to do things that day, because I was going to wake up and I was going to do YouTube. And then I was going to do my checklist. And then after the checklist, you know, because Megan doesn't have her skating until after school, that's when I was going to do that. And I'm starting this new thing where I'm trying to do a cleaning focus every day, because doing all of the housework is hard some days, and I don't want to do it. I get so sick some days of doing the exact same thing every day, and it's just part of being a mom. It's a thing, but it gets hard some days, and especially when your energy is low and you're spending 90% of your time trying to maintain the house and get the kids where they need to go, and you need time to do things for you too. So, little rant, but I'm struggling with that as well. Like I said, I'm just struggling with a lot of things right now, and my planner is my way of dealing with them. But it doesn't mean that I'm going to continue to plan in the same way if that's not helping. So, and right now, I'm not sure it is helping. It's helping to some extent, but not as much as I want it to. And part of that is an energy thing. So anyhow, I have the little YouTube flag at the top. I layered that with some floral and a little computer icon that was a Giving Girl icon. I don't know that those are still in the shop or not. That was from quite a while ago. And then I have my cleaning focus. And then below that, I have the checklist. But the checklist felt very plain on its own. I think part of my struggle with this kit was actually this beigey color that just kind of blended into everything. So what I ended up doing was I took one of the dividers that had the wood grain and the flowers on it, and I just offset it with the checklist to give it a little pop of color behind it. And then I marked Megan's skating and Emily's therapy. I did think about using dividers at the bottom to go all the way across to mark off this section to have dinner, because I needed a dinner plan, and that helps me figure out, you know, where do I need to be and such. But I didn't like the divider as much, so instead I'm using just a little piece of that like washi sticker there to divide that section, and I just really like the way that that turned out. It's not a ton of stickers down there, but it's also enough to kind of be decorative. I really wanted to use that basket of apples, so you'll see me continue to try and place it in different places, but it just didn't work. Then when it came to Tuesday, I again knew I wasn't going to be doing my cleaning first thing. This is part of a mental health thing. Like, I needed something because I'm dreading doing the cleaning so much that I could do first, and I was going to do an Instagram post first thing in the morning. I at first was going to use that little arrow, but I didn't like the fact that the arrow and the little thing I had used on the previous day were the exact same size, so I opted for this midi box instead. And then I have a Crafts by Towie little Instagram icon there that I put in with some florals. And then I'm going to go ahead and put in my cleaning focus, but I didn't want it to go all the way across with this arrow, ribbon, whatever. And so I just trimmed it down a little bit to give myself some white space on the other side. I felt like that really helped. And again here, because I have a lot of brown all at once, I'm using that trick where I put a header behind the checklist again and just have that there. And then this is me going, okay, what do we have after that? Next I had Megan's skating, and so I'm trying to find a box for that, and I needed a big box because on Tuesdays she has 2 lessons. She has one with her main coach and one with kind of a skills coach that she has in addition to work on some other techniques. And then after that, I was like, I don't really have a ton going on, so I want a decorative box down here. And I was playing with this idea of overlaying the window on one of these boxes, which I will do, just not right here. Instead, I opt for just one of the floral boxes. Again, in that brown tone. There's so much brown in the spread, it's kind of amazing. And then I just overlay a little bit of that washi tape type sticker there. I wasn't sure at first if I wanted to go with the green, but then the green with the other green that was so close, and because they were cut apart, it just looked a little funny to me. So I ended up pulling both of those up and instead just using some of the headers from that foil sheet in there. And again, I'm trying to figure out how to use this basket of apples, but I didn't have the right amount of space here. It was a thing. And then I ripped the sticker and I was so sad. But luckily it goes back together pretty easily. So there is that. Instead, I'm using a pie and a little bit of floral to mark dinner this night. And I'm going to go back in. I'm going to post it on Instagram because I don't think it's in this video. But as the day go by, I do fill in what we had for dinner each day and everything. Then on Wednesday, this is one of the days where I do need to get up and I need to do my chores first thing in the morning because we do have house cleaners that come every other week on Wednesdays to help me out with a few things, which means I need to make sure the house is in order for them because otherwise, you know, they don't pick up items on the floor. They just do, like, they mop the floors for me, they clean the showers, they do a little bit of dusting, that type of thing. And so, yeah. Oh, this is when I realized that Megan's lessons were going to happen first because she has to be at the rink at 6 in the morning, which is brutal for all of us. And so I would go through that with her and then I'd come home and do my checklist and then I'll leave for therapy and the house cleaners come essentially. So I need to make sure that everything's done before I leave for therapy. It's kind of a busier day. And then I'm marking that the house cleaners are coming with one of those midi boxes just to, you know, make sure I have everything in there. And then Emily has her group speech on Wednesdays as well, and which is amazing. If you have a kid who has autism, being able to get them around other kids that have the exact same issues that they have has been so amazing for my kids. And I have to think it would be beneficial for all kids because I can see that it's not just them. We did have a little bit of a skip there because I didn't realize it, but one of my batteries for my camera is just not holding a charge, so I need to replace it. So it dies faster than it should, and I haven't always been picking up on it, but that's why I've had so many jumps recently in my videos. So ordering a new battery today. Anyhow, this is me. I put that window over top of the decorative box at the top, and then Megan is having some comprehensive testing done. This is just a reevaluation of her autism and her ADHD diagnosis and making sure we're getting her all the accommodations that she needs, essentially. And that takes up from like 9 until noon on these days. And then below that, I did give myself a little box. I just put it at an angle, put that little bit of washi strip there and a Crafts by Towie icon to record weekly plan with me, which actually has not happened because I was so burnt out by the time we were done with the testing that I was just done for the day. So, and then I have my to-do list there at the bottom. I love being able to layer those to-dos that I have. That is actually a Harriet Wright design script there on the little arrow that I overlaid. Those are amazing. And then I cut down a swatch to mark dinner at the bottom. As for Friday, Emily had her well child visit first thing in the morning, and so I needed to mark that. And I decided to do that with one of the squares and just kind of put it at an angle. I didn't realize that it probably would have looked better if I had angled it the other way so that the window and the box there weren't both going in the same direction. Sometimes if you have too many things angled in the same direction, it just kind of looks cockeyed. But, you know, and that is I want to say Pretty Pink Co. little stethoscope there. It's very similar to the Crafts by Towie one. A lot of different shops have them, so I don't know that any particular shop is better than the other. But Crafts by Towie does ship a little bit faster, I think. At least I haven't ordered from Pretty Pink Co. in quite a while, but in the past they did come faster. So if time is of the essence, there you go. And then I'm just using a small green box. I'm going to use that to mark that I wanted to do another post on Instagram. And below that, I am marking weekly planning. Oh, the previous plan with me was me going, I wanted to post this plan with me on Thursday, but because of Megan's testing and because I wasn't feeling well the night before, I did not get the voiceover done. That's what it was. Anyhow,
so bad when I'm like looking back at it and going, what did I mean here? Helps if I look over at my planner. Anyhow, it's just been one of those weeks. And then at the bottom, I'm just putting in a decorative box, and then that post-it type of note I'm going to use to mark that Megan is going off camping with a friend this weekend, which she's going to have such a good time. And then Saturday morning, I had hoped to do an Instagram reel this morning. Hasn't happened yet, but we'll see. And then I have my cleaning focus, which is more or less just all of the catching up on laundry and that kind of thing. And then I'm marking YouTube work below that. I did them in the reverse order. I haven't done my cleaning yet because I'm postponing and being a procrastinator. But I do really like the way layering the floral and that camera icon from Crafts by Towie works really well for me. And then I'm just putting down another midi box there. That's to mark that Ethan's friends are going to be coming over. They like to play D&D on Saturdays, and I think that's great. And then I finally figured out a spot for this apple basket. So I'm overlaying it over top of some florals there. And I'm just going to use that to mark dinner for the night. We're having lasagna. It's going to be fabulous. And then tomorrow, which is going to go better than the rest of the week, I'm again using one of the little arrows and overlaying that little to-do script from Harriet Wright Designs along with my checklist to mark the things I want to get done in the morning. And then I'm just adding in a full box, as well as I'm going to add in this little floral with box because I'm hoping to get up my monthly plan with me on Sunday. And we'll see how that goes. Hopefully it'll go well. We're keeping our fingers crossed here. And then on the end of the day, I'm just putting in a box to mark Ethan working and dinner. At first I wanted this box, but decided I wanted something different here. And so I'm just kind of playing around with a few different elements. And in the end, I end up with, I think, a circle. Man, a lot of, yeah, one of those. And I thought about layering it with another circle, but didn't like the way that looked. So I thought about this swatch, and I kind of liked the way that this looked, but it wasn't quite right either. Like I said, I really struggled with this kit. I did end up using that little washi type strip for dinner, but I didn't like the area between. So yeah, I struggled with this so much this week. I don't know why, and I'm hoping this next week will go better. I thought about this scenario, didn't like that, so I'm pulling things up again. And I'm like, okay, we're going to do a floral. Maybe we just do a floral. No, we're going to do a floral with a circle, and that worked for me. And I'm going to use that to mark the boys working. And that's pretty much it for this week. I hope you guys enjoyed my hot mess express of a plan with me this week. And until next time, which will hopefully be tomorrow, that's all I have for today.